So Landon, it's pretty cold out there today. I think it's like in the 30s. How warm do you think it is in here?
It's probably in about the low 60s. It'd be even warmer if there's some actual sunshine, but it's pretty overcast right now.
60s, nice. Yeah, it feels real nice. I think I might get a margarita.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. So it's important that we monitor the temperature in here closely, which may make the margarita helpful. But I want you to talk a little bit about how you monitor the temperature, specifically in the seed starting area, because starting seeds, as Mike McGrath would say from You Bet Your Garden, is an art. So why don't you talk about how we practice this fine art of seed starting?
Well, this is our germination bench here. We have all these flats starting different seeds right now, and underneath them are heat mats that warm up the soil temperature. They're controlled by a thermostat, so the heat mat should stay on until the soil reaches a certain temperature, which is the ideal range for starting seeds. We have it in this box to kind of help preserve some of the heat. So the wood sides, and then it has an insulation bottom on there that helps keep it a little bit warmer inside there during the day and at night. And we put these glass panels on at night, which kind of creates a greenhouse within a greenhouse. I still have these glass panels on here right now down this end because I have some tomatoes and basil, which are particularly heat-loving down this end. And so while it's only in the low 60s in here, just having these glass panels on this end keeps it actually in the low 70s down this end of the germination bench.
Interesting. And can you talk a little bit more about this probe? Now, you don't have anything actually growing in these flats here.
No. That probe is connected to the thermostat, so that's just a thermometer to measure the soil temperature. So that is just that flat is just there to kind of let the thermostat know what the temperature of the soil is.
And so you want to try to keep that the soil that the probe is sticking into as close to condition-wise the soil that the seeds are getting started in.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the greenhouse as a more general space as opposed to this microclimate that you create for the seed starting table. How do you try to control the temperature in here on a day-to-day basis?
Well, first of all, the sides of the greenhouse are roll-up, so if it gets really warm in here, you just roll up the sides a little bit, and that drops the temperature right back down to the outside temperature pretty quickly. But at night, obviously, especially now in March, it's still dropping down below freezing often. We have to keep it, we do everything we can to keep it warmer in here. One of the main ways is just filling up the space. You can see our greenhouse looks really packed and cluttered, and well, that can be annoying. It's also on purpose. Keeping it as full as possible with soil and plants actually helps control the temperature because you have a bigger thermal mass which is able to retain the heat overnight. You can also see that we, in addition to that, have things like this. This is just a big cooler full of water. That not only helps keep it warmer at night, but it also, having exposed water like that, also helps keep it a little cooler during the day. The temperature of the water fluctuates a little bit less, and as the temperature rises, some of the water evaporates, taking up some of the heat that builds up in here.
And how do you keep those from being like breeding grounds for mosquitoes?
Just a little bleach every now and again.
Nice. And I see that there are like a ton of random hay bales in here. What's the deal with that?
Hay bales, same idea, just more thermal mass. These things get pretty soaked. They hold on to a lot of water, and therefore are good at helping to regulate the temperature. We'll eventually pull these out and use them as mulch in the fields.
Cool. So they're getting wet now, helping with the regulating the temperature in the greenhouse, and at the same time they're sprouting all their weeds, so that hopefully by the time we use them as mulch they'll be less weedy.
Yep, exactly.
And what about this plastic?
Yep, the plastic, I mean, obviously that's the main thing that a greenhouse is either glass or plastic that kind of helps build up the solar energy while holding the heat back in. So this is actually a double layer plastic, and in this greenhouse there are these two layers. The outermost layer and the inner layer are actually separated by an air cushion, which we use a small little air pump to keep it inflated, and that again it's like a same principle as a thermos.
Neat. And is there any other way that we keep the greenhouse warm? I mean, so far you've mentioned the air pump as the only electrical implement.
Well, there's also the heat mats
Yep.
directly underneath the seeds. And then we also have a small electric heater. For this amount of space, obviously that electric heater can only do so much, but it does add an important few degrees.
Cool. Well, thanks, Lyndon, for walking us through all the different ways that we try to keep the climate in the greenhouse ideal for our little seeds.